There we go. All right, folks, here we go. Tuesday. Boy, last night was a big night. Huge night indeed. Wow, there's a lot of news. Tonight's going to be a big night. Yes, it will be. All right, we are live on X. There I am. Hola. Yes. Yes, it will be. And we have two guests. I believe we're going to have two guests. Yep, JR's ready. All right, there's the X sound. Let me check YouTube. I believe we're good to go. Yes, we should be. I don't know why we wouldn't be. Boom, boom, boom. That's not me. I think it should be okay. Well, we're definitely, I don't know why I don't see myself on YouTube. That should be it. Right? No, that's not it. All right. We're back in action. Last night was pretty big. That was a busy Monday night, wasn't it? For those that saw it. And then we're obviously live on Facebook. Whether people like it or not. Yes. There's Tammy. Folks, it's Tuesday. All right, now where are my guests? I hope they're not chickening. Well, one is scheduled for 1:30. Someone else. This is really interesting with what happened last night. I want to hear. We have someone who claims he was first one on the scene at the fire last night. So we want to talk to him. 104. We're live in 2 minutes. Some people don't get that. I hear some people say, when did he start talking? Right now, as a matter of fact. No, we're going to start talking in a moment. Where is my guest? Oh, my God. You know, I hope he didn't back out. We're going to find out. Yep, that's all we can do. My guest. Yes. Will be a big night. It's Catherine. Anthony. Anthony's waiting for Drinks the Lounge. There's Lynn Miller. Nice job. Thank you, Brenda. If everyone would be such a fan like Brenda, help us towards our March goal. There's Jan Rice. Wait a minute. Andrea Lemire is here. Yep. No respect, Lynn. Nope. All right. Where is my... Oh, God. This guy was leaving me endless messages today. I said, will you be a guest? Where are you? I still have your video, your audio. All right, we're going to start momentarily. We're going to wait for the cue from JR. Folks, nice weather outside. 46 degrees. Feels like 30. That's okay. You know, I can actually look at this. How are things when it feels like when it's 46 degrees? I consider that a nice day. All right, we're going to, and there it is, folks, at 106. Where is my guest? Where is he? Now. Hold on. Jump on now. Don't be nervous. He is nervous. All right, I have the audio. I can play it. Folks, good afternoon. This is The Real News. Rhode Island GOP Chairman Joe Powers is going to join me coming up 1:30. He was reelected to a 2-year term. We're going to talk to him. It's also a big night. President Trump will deliver his State of the Union. There's also something very significant happening at the Rhode Island State House that I want to touch on. But folks, this is the real news. This is what people look for. If you were watching last night, now I have to, and right now we are live. We should be live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. I know we're live on X. And then we are live, obviously, on Facebook. There it is. It says, okay. It says that I am live. There I am on YouTube. Okay. We're getting there. All right. I don't need to keep hearing myself. And then obviously, folks, AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. This happens. Someone says, yeah, I'd love to tell you what I saw last night. And then the time arrives, and sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. But we will talk with the GOP chair coming up. Folks, 107 on this Tuesday, March 4th. Huge, huge night with the State of the Union. And then they have to continue to implement. We'll touch on that. Something very significant happened last night. Again, we have so many new people. I implore you to become a subscriber. It's 49 cents. You cancel at any time. This is the type of, we put out content that you want to support. I'm not in on the way the rest of the media, how they just go along to get along. We have cornered the market, unfiltered, uncensored. Last night was as real as it gets. Subscribe. It's right on the page. You can always ask someone, hey, how do I do that? Let's, build up our base. Then you're one of our subscribers. Folks, it's your chance to support real news. And this portion of our program is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge with Anthony Santos. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. This portion of our program is also President Trump's State of the Union address, which we're going to preview, is brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus, heating and cooling, residential or commercial. Log on to their website. It's propaneplus.com. 3 generations. You can depend on Propane Plus. All right, let me see if our guest, listen, all you have to say is I've changed my mind. So, did you change your mind? Yes or no? Seems like a simple question. Here's my problem for someone who was going to come on. I saw him last night at the fire. But yes or no? He left me very detailed explanations. Now, doesn't help the credibility if then you're a no-show when you agreed to be a guest on the program. He was there. Now the whole reason I was going to talk about last night was simply because we had an eyewitness. And now all of a sudden, again, I don't know. This isn't unfortunately, it's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. There are people and then different reasons. Most of the time, it's because they speak with family and friends who say, no, don't. And those of you that watch Road Patrol know that many times it's like their common reaction. They put hoods over their faces. They hide their face. I don't pretend to understand the nature of it. He left me very detailed. I saw this guy last night. I saw him last night, and he was one of the first ones there. And said, and he had some interesting firsthand, but it doesn't mean anything if then. All right, let me just put this. I am live right now discussing you. It doesn't mean anything if then you blow off when you say you're going to be a guest. It doesn't carry the same weight, so to speak, in any way. So I'm not trying to. He left me very detailed information about what had happened last night. And I thought, we don't do this all the time, but we'll again, I did see him last night. And then this isn't the first time. I've had guests that they have, and I don't know this individual, but I did see him last night. And he had some information about the fire that I have not heard from others. And I did see him, and he just tells a different story. But children were left unattended. He claims they were the ones handing the children to the firefighters. I didn't hear that mentioned last night. But he also claims that the parents were not with the children. They were alone. And the woman had some problems with her laundry. Again, listen, this is someone that reached out to me. I'm not trying to make their life more difficult. And
so it's probably better if I explain it like this. So when you go to the side of the house, there's a door. That door meets the first floor and the second floor. In the back of the house, there's another door to the basement. If you're looking at the door to the basement and you look to your right, there's another steps and another.
All right. Anyway, he had details. I can't force people. Who knows? He left me, contacted me, and then left me let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 video messages. I said, you don't have to show your face. I saw you last night. We just want to hear what happened. And there's your answer. All right. We move on. Now, I want to just touch on, because this is big. There's other things. Listen, tonight, I'll tell you what's going to happen tonight. The local media is going to go after the president. And the national media is going to go after the president. And here's what I believe. I'm not going to go on that long. And we're going to talk to Chairman Joe Powers of the Republican Party coming up at the bottom of the hour, unless he's like our fire guest who pulls a no-show. It is inconceivable to me how these people, yes, I'll do it, okay, and then boom, they're a no-show. However, it carries into life. Again, I don't know this individual, but many of these people, that's why, they have trouble with, you're supposed to report to work every day. You're supposed to go to school every day. You're supposed to pay your rent every month. You're supposed to make your car payment every month. Little bit of a foreign concept for certain individuals. So it's not foreign to them like, oh, okay, yeah. But anyway, we're going to move on. I'll tell you, and I don't know if Chairman Joe Powers is aware of this, but I'm seeing that this is fantastic. The House Republicans at the State House, I want to bring this out. They're going to skip the annual chamber legislative lunch. So who put this out initially? I think Kathy Gregg. Rhode Island House Republicans to skip annual chamber legislative lunch. Mike Chippendales decline the usual annual invite, sit on a stage, take pre-planned questions at the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce annual luncheon set coming up March 12th. Good. Listen, here's a news alert no one talks about. The Providence Chamber of Commerce is useless. They're in the pawn. They're pawns to organized labor in the McKee administration. Chippendale says, I see no value in this event for anyone involved, legislators, attendees, or chamber members. It's a fundraiser for the chamber. Nothing more. Proven to be a waste of time. I sat on that stage for 6 years, realized it's just a dog and pony show, echoed Brian Newberry. The chamber leadership has no interest in facilitating an actual debate. They just want to cozy up to the Speaker, Senate President, throw them some pre-selected softball questions, try to make them look good, try to speak out against something they don't favor, as I did with truck tolls, and they cut you off. Why anyone bothers going is beyond me. Chippendale adds, the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce allegedly supposed to speak for the Rhode Island, quote, business community. But the truth of the matter is, it's an incestuous group of top-level executives at the largest companies in the state whose main goal is to not offend Democrat leadership so they can get whatever legislative crumbs may get tossed their way. This sounds like I wrote this. They certainly don't represent the struggling small business community in the state, nor the general population. And they can always be counted on election time to do the bidding of the Speaker and the Senate President, rather than support candidates who actually fight to help the overall business climate in Rhode Island. I'm done hoping they'll change their ways, no longer going to play their game. So I think, now I recognize, hear me out, I get that sounds like real inside baseball. But folks, like Lori White, what has she ever done? They're exactly right. This is about, it's people that they have their own little turf, and they placate, and they say truck tolls aren't a problem. And, McGreed building the most expensive minor league soccer stadium in the free world. Oh, that sounds like good economic development. Governor McKee stopped by the quote job fair for the minor league soccer team. I think they have 8 or 9 home games, and it's minimum wage jobs to collect tickets and sell concessions. That's their idea of economic development. Trump at a press conference yesterday, Taiwanese company is going to spend $100 billion making chips. Where? In the United States. What state? Arizona. Why? Because they're business friendly. That's economic development. I'll tell you what's not economic development. We're going to put out a bond to build a new library. That's not economic development. That way the union leaders put in no bid contract. They juice it up 25 to 30%. Look at all the money they're making. Yeah, who gets soaked? The taxpayers. That's not economic development. I commend leaders Chippendale and Brian Newberry. Good. It's about time. Folks, see, to me, this is like the Trump effect. All bets are off. No more of this foolishness. For what? Why? Why sit there and placate them? Don't show up. Don't show up. Now, and I'm not just saying that because Joe Powers is coming up at 1:30. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Kids Club. I can't believe, I do believe the guy then pulls a no-show. But I can't take it personal. I can't. This is like a way of life for these people. Kids Club on the Pike, birthday parties, before and after school programs, summer camp available for private rental, entire facilities for birthday parties, other events, providing transportation before and after school care, school ages children, ages 5 through 12. They also offer half and full day program, preschool children, ages 3 through 6, Kids Club on the Pike. You can call Kristen, 401-443-5336, 401-443-5336. Folks, it's Kids Club on the Pike. You're going to love it. And they're right on 295 on the Cranston-Johnston line, and they are perfect. Maybe either your children or grandchildren, you're in need of transportation before or after care for school-age children, ages 5 through 12, half and full day program, preschool children, ages 3 through 5. It's Kids Club on the Pike. I want to also echo, good afternoon, everyone. This is The Real News, and I'm going to talk about what happened. We do have some video, what happened on 195. They had to close the highway. It's the third accident in 3 days. I am kind of amused that Governor McKee, I don't understand why Channel 12 didn't do a story on it. He edited their video. He edited the Channel 12 video, and then they blamed it on a staffer. Oh, a young staffer edited what Mike Montecalvo was saying. I don't believe that. I don't believe that in any way. But for those in the East Bay, how much longer how is it working out that Gabe Amo is your representative? If you live in the East Bay, how's it working out that Val Lawson is your senator? When is enough enough? When do you realize the mayor of East Providence is not working on your behalf? That tragically he's just a McKee lackey, and he's so aggressive on Facebook everywhere he's going. I can't even imagine If someone ever just whatever, the waiter comes over to take his order, he's got the camera out. Oh, let's do a selfie. Can I get you, you guys dessert? Let's get a selfie of you asking me for dessert. It's like he's running a blanking reality show, for crying out loud. So, but it's the people in the East Bay. When is enough enough? Are we supposed to have sympathy for the people in East Providence and Borrington and Bristol? That you continue to elect these incompetent individuals to the state house and you think you're going to get a different result? They're all worshiping at the McKee altar. Nothing is going to change. And McKee, the roads are, they're not fine. How many accidents have to happen before people start to say, gee, there are a lot, because there's no room for error. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Watson Materials. Largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Located South County Trail, East Greenwich. Call them 401-885-0600. Call, request a quote, Watson Materials, 401-885-0600. The most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island is Watson Materials. Look for them on Facebook, whether it's landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone, Watson Materials. Call Sean, 401-885-0600. So that was a very bad accident. The highway had to close on 195. What is that a result of? Folks, I also don't understand. They were then blocking 195 East. The accident, and it was a very bad accident, was on 195 West. They had I don't understand why. They had a fire truck on 195 East, putting it down to one lane. I don't understand why they did that, but I don't get that. Listen, the locals, meaning local media, they continue to just regurgitate the lies from Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Gay Bomo, and Magaziner. So they just continue to put that forward, and they're going to continue. You're not going to get any coverage of that locally as far as like what's really going on. And I want to once again applaud the Rhode Island GOP for putting out that what is the point? I love the defiance. Why? Why are we going to go through with this foolishness with the Chamber of Commerce? Folks, last night, for those of you who listen to the radio, Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos ran a community meeting, and I played some of it on the radio show. Media was reporting about beforehand, but I didn't see any coverage of it afterwards. She just reads these talking points. Make no mistake about it. What was it all about? It was a community meeting for people that are not in our country legally, who are not in our state legally. And as a result of that, they're panicked about what's going on. All she keeps saying is, we are democracy. We're democracy. As if, oh no, like she doesn't even know what she's talking about. They're violating the law. That was her cut yesterday, as a matter of fact.
No, this country is a democracy. There are rules, and the rules that apply to everyone. And there are rules to defend people, and people just should be aware of what those rules are. That's all we're doing. Are you prepared for backlash? No, this country is a democracy. There are rules, and the rules that...
Yeah, let's get into reality, though. Okay, let's get into reality. And I shared this on our Facebook page. People are scared. Fear of ICE raids causing Central Falls businesses to suffer. I also came across something really interesting. And I did post this, I believe, on Facebook. And people are scared. The Rhode Island PBS, Channel 36, they put out, oh no, it's the public radio. I think they're all the same. I don't know. But they put out the Trump administration aggressive new immigration policies have created an atmosphere of fear and anxiety in the majority Latino city of Central Falls. Now, in this article, they say more than half don't have legal status. But then you go inside the article, and the number is actually, if it's accurate, 69%. Well, that's actually closer to 70% than, I'm not trying to split hairs here, but they say, oh, half. Well, I mean, I'm not a mathematician here. 69 is closer to 70% of Central Falls, according to the mayor. Don't have proper legal status. What does that tell you? And by the way, pop quiz, who's paying for the Central Falls school system? Look in the mirror. You are. The taxpayers are. We are. But that's the spin that we're talking about. That they don't say 70%. Now, I get the whole purpose of the story is apparently businesses in Central Falls are slow. And the reason why it's slow is they're saying, people are shopping for each other, people are afraid to go out. Folks, I come back to who invited them here? Who told them? Here it is, fear of ICE raids hurting local business in Central Falls. Who invited them? Who gave them driving licenses? I admit, our local media, it's so predictable. All they do is say to Governor McKee, are we a sanctuary state? And what does Governor McKee say? No. Folks, that is, if you run a liquor store and someone comes in, and let's just say you're near, URI or PC or Johnson Wales, whatever, and a kid comes in, that's akin to just saying, are you 21? Yeah. Oh, okay. And then ring it up. Just because he says that. And the story, oh my God, these businesses are so, they're quiet. No one's going out. Listen, I'm not saying I don't begrudge these businesses. It's an atmosphere of fear and anxiety in Central Falls. 69% don't have legal status. That's closer to 70. But of course, the headline's like 70, half. Half. It saddens me to see them so empty. Is that our fault? Why is everything our fault? That's not our fault. All right, we're going to bring on Chairman Powers in just a moment. I want to once again, that is a big move. That is a power move by Chippendale and Newberry, the Rhode Island GOP. We're not going to the Chamber of Commerce. For what? Why? It's a show. It's not real. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Modern Mechanical. Call them. They're right on Jefferson Boulevard. Remember, boiler repair and maintenance. They do furnace repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance. Modern Mechanical. Call Richard and his crew. If you're listening or watching right now and you're having a problem with your boiler or furnace or heater, Modern Mechanical, 401-441-5442, 401-441-5442. I share their, Facebook page. Folks, joining us right now, he just was elected to another 2-year term. He is the chairman of the Rhode Island Republican Party. Good afternoon to Chairman Joe Powers. Mr. Chairman, good afternoon and congratulations on election to another term.
Oh, thank you, John. I really appreciate you having me on.
Okay. Let me just check something. For whatever reason, you were a little soft there. It could be on my end. I apologize. Give me one moment and we will correct that. Okay. Folks, there we go. Okay. There we go. All right. There's our chairman. Chairman, first of all, it must feel good that you won resounding re-election. And at the same time, I sense that there's a vibe right now, and it's coming out of Washington. And I'm noticing more and more in our area that people don't have to be ashamed or timid to show that they're supporting the Republican agenda.
Yeah, I mean, John, back in November on the 5th, when we had election day, and then Rhode Island had a resounding sign of voting upwards of almost 42% for the first time since the 1980s, actually, 1990, 1988 is when it happened. It was with Ronald Reagan. There's absolutely an upsurge in people who are, in your words, not afraid to actually lean more on the right hand side. And you and I've had this conversation before where I live. There's a lot of independents, and quite a few of them would lean in and tell me, I'm actually a Republican. And for some reason, they just wouldn't come out and say it, which is our job as a party to make them want to come out and be part of what it is that we're doing. And that's what we're going to start doing now.
I think some of it, I hear the same thing from some business people that they feel they have to kind of go along to get along, and it doesn't echo. But you tell me, you've been doing it. I think it's real. I think there is really right now a desire that a lot of people seem to agree with many of the policies that the Trump administration is trying to execute.
You know, I look at DC and their spending and their budget woes as just being a varsity team version of what happens in Rhode Island. We see the exact same thing happen in Rhode Island where we overspend, we don't have enough money coming in, government is completely bloated. So I think people are, especially in Rhode Island, can liken themselves to what Doge is doing and Elon Musk by going in and just popping out and cutting out all the pork fat and saying, you know, we don't need to be spending this much money, and they see it because they're living it in Rhode Island because we've been that way for so long.
Folks, again, we're speaking with, he is the chairman of the Rhode Island Republican Party. It is Chairman Joe Powers. And Chairman, take us inside a little bit. Saturday was a chance for you to, see the people that elected you. What is some of the feedback you're getting? I think it was a positive weekend. You also had the leaders of the House and the Senate on newsmakers. The Republicans are making news again today at the State House. Tonight is the
Yeah.
State of the Union. What is some of the feedback you're hearing from some of your members?
Well, I'll tell you, what we get a lot of times, John, is people telling us that we need to be speaking louder, we need to be out in front, we need to be putting our messages out. I wanted to make sure that we had some power behind the words that we're putting out. It's a well-known fact. Just because you can speak loud, it doesn't mean people are going to believe in you or they're going to realize or trust you that you're going to be able to affect change. So what we're doing now is we're going to use the groundswell that we have of the Republican party that people are actually starting to latch onto. Now we're going to start getting a little bit louder. We're going to utilize the bully pulpit. We're working hand in hand with leaders Dela Cruz and leader Chippendale and Newberry. And you saw what happened with them today. I mean, it was basically a show, and they're not going to show up for that stuff because we're out doing real deals. I mean, leader Chippendale in the House put out an amazing budget proposal that would actually affect Rhode Island in a positive way and help everybody out. And people kind of just snickered. But a lot of people looked at this and said, you know something, they actually have something here, which is some of the criticism they throw out. Is like, well, what are you guys doing? And now that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to keep growing on the groundswell of support that we've had, and we're going to start getting louder. We're going to have our messaging is going to get bigger, and we get some big game plans coming in for 26. But in the meantime, we're going to start making some headway.
Chairman, yesterday, Governor McKee announced he's seeking re-election. It's certainly, I don't know if it has people kind of talking, not enthusiastically, but a lot of people I'm talking to, and even Democrats, can't even believe he's going ahead. I didn't get a chance if you did react to it, but I'm just curious, any thought on the governor saying his job is not finished and he next year would like to be reelected for 4 more years?
Well, I mean, it's the classic Democrat move where you want to try to fail up and just not do anything correctly and expect to get yourself some sort of a promotion, which is amazing to me. It's like there's not a single person in the state of Rhode Island that doesn't look at him and get a Scooby Doo look and be like, huh? Like, as he said he was ready to finish his job. Quite frankly, John, I don't think he knows what his job is. He has zero plan. You heard Ashley Kalis talk about this a lot in 22. He really genuinely doesn't have a plan. He's got the scarecrow mentality. The fingers go other directions in all different spaces, and he's trying to figure it out as he goes. But this idea of him running again, saying that his job isn't done, he hasn't started it. So how does he know when he's supposed to be done? Because he doesn't have a plan in place for it. It's amazing.
I take that more of a threat that he's not done, as opposed to something to be enthusiastic about. Now, Chairman, also, I want to give you a chance right now talk
Yeah.
to business owners, talk to people that maybe are on the sidelines. They're unhappy with what's been going on. They want to infect change. They want to be part of this. When Governor McKee said in his video, we're going to stop the dangerous Trump agenda, I don't hear anyone else saying that. I hear people saying we want to execute the agenda here in Rhode Island.
Well, John, I appreciate you allowing me to do this. And here's what I have to say. As a small business owner myself, what I can say is to the few businesses that are left in Rhode Island, understand something. What the agenda has been for the Democrat Party has been to completely squash any hope that you may have to actually thrive in Rhode Island, which is why so many businesses have left. The only thing that I can say to you now is you take a look at what it is that we're putting together. Leader Chippendale's proposal for the budget alone can show you exactly what it is that we're doing, because we put thoughts, we put thought and we put planning behind it to make sure we're doing the right thing. Our sole focus needs to be on a foundational, financial foundational basis for all of Rhode Island. And you cannot do that unless you have solid businesses in the area. So the solid businesses are the ones that need to start speaking louder. We're going to start having open forums. We're going to have coffee with candidates. We're going to have what we call unity breakfasts. We're going to bring in business owners to actually come in and actually hear proposals that we have to put together, introduce ourselves to everybody out there to show them that we're here to work for you. We're not just here to work for Republicans. We're here to work for Rhode Islanders and help Rhode Island get back to the day of the industrial age that started right here in Rhode Island. So why I welcome all business owners to reach out, and we will be in touch soon to set up some time where we can sit and talk.
And Chairman, just two examples. And again, folks, it's Rhode Island GOP Chairman Joe Powers, just elected to another 2-year term on Saturday. Chairman, this morning, 195 was shut down. Another horrible accident. Guess what? That's going to continue to happen. People in the East Bay, how much longer are they going to put up with the failed leadership of Val Lawson and some of the Democrats? Chairman, I'm also curious. I hear from a number of Democrats at the State House who tell me, they're a Democrat. They tell me, oh, I'm a big Trump supporter. I just wonder if we're getting to the point where some of the reps and state senators will jump in, take the plunge, and switch that D to an R, because the Democrat Party right now, it's basically become a punchline across the country.
Yeah. So, I mean, more power to them. However, our focus isn't going to be about getting them to switch. It's going to be trying to put the game plan together. I'll address your first point. As far as the bridge is concerned, I don't think there's a single person in the state of Rhode Island that listened to the governor when he said $200 million in 2 years, this thing was going to be done. Everybody in Rhode Island just knew. And my favorite tagline that I see on Twitter all the time is, aren't you tired of this yet, Rhode Island? Because it's the same old stuff over and over again. They're just going to keep fumbling and bumbling. And John, let's remember, not a single person has been held accountable as of yet. The day of reckoning has fizzled, and the lawsuits that are out, they're just going to die away. Now, as far as the State House is concerned, I welcome each and every one of them. They do need to understand, though, we do things a little bit differently in the Republican Party. We actually think, we plan, we strategize. We don't just run off of feelings, we run off of facts. I would welcome them to actually step on. And I do know of a couple that have actually called us up and said, hey, we should get together and have coffee. I'm more than welcome to do so. I'll be very pragmatic about it. I'll sit down and talk. If we can figure out a plan and we can come together, I don't even care if you stay Democrat. As long as we can work on a plan that's going to help Rhode Island, that's where our focus is.
Chairman Powers, finally, I'm a big fan of Howard Lutnick, the new Commerce Secretary. It is, I don't know if you caught it, I don't know if people, but that press briefing yesterday where there he is with President Trump, and they're talking about a $100 billion investment in Arizona. And then you have Larry Ellison, who has a house in Newport of Oracle. And this was 2 days after the inauguration. Larry Ellison announced a $500 billion investment. The reason I highlight that, Chairman Powers, is I just think people in Rhode Island, they don't, I hope it's not lost on them that you do see, now granted, these are major press conference investments, but in other states that are more business friendly, this is more, the norm. You're seeing more of this. I hope it's not lost on people that we don't see that here in our area. When's the last time Governor McKee, other than an airline that's going to expand, when's the last time he had a press conference, if ever, that a company is going to set down roots and expand and have private sector jobs in Rhode Island?
Yeah, so John, here's the incredible part is that those were two of actually three companies that have already sworn hundreds of billions of dollars, including Apple, I might add, that are coming in with the
Yes.
microchips that are coming into Arizona for $100 billion as well, and they're going to open up that business. The problem that we run into is people don't look at Rhode Island as that shining light of business venture. They're not going to look at us until we actually start changing it. If we were in the middle of the country, we'd be one of the flyover states where people look down and say, well, that looks really nice. Rhode Island absolutely has an opportunity to make themselves known. We're doing a lot of work down in Washington, myself, my national committee woman, my national committee man, where we're making ourselves known down there in DC. And we're actually starting to get a little bit of recognition. Some of us are being brought into some high-end conversations about the Republican Party nationwide. I even told them, let us be the ice pick that cracks the blue ice in New England, and let us start taking over Rhode Island. It's a very easy way for us to do it. I have a plan put together that we can initiate. I'm just looking to get the national help so we can start getting more people here. And that's when we make the change if people are going to see it. Because unfortunately, when they see it on TV, it might as well be fiction because they don't know, they don't feel it, they don't see it, they don't smell it, and they don't get the opportunity to get a job there. However, if we can make that switch here in Rhode Island, this would be an amazing place for people to come in and start creating their businesses, bring businesses back, bring Rhode Island back, and get more jobs in Rhode Island, and put a little pin in the size of the government that we have here.
Chairman Powers, final question. How can people get involved? I mean, I hear literally every day people that say Congressman Amo doesn't speak for me, Congressman Magaziner doesn't speak for me, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse doesn't speak for me, McKee Matos, they don't. All I hear is people saying we don't have anyone statewide or in Congress relates to them and speaks to them. How can people get involved?
Well, to that first part, all four of those gentlemen you just talked about, and I use that word loosely, they're nothing but parrots. They're handed scripts and they read their scripts. And when they get thrown off the script, which was happened to Gabe Amo the other day at that nursing home, he didn't know
Yes.
where to go. And he ended up looking like an octopus on roller skates and didn't know where to go with this thing. That's what I mean by they don't have a plan. How do they get involved? Very simplistically, they could reach out to us. They go to our website, which is just ri.gop. There's no .com, no .org. It's just ri.gop. And you click on the link up top that says connect to my local city committee. And every single city and state in the state of Rhode Island, all 39 of them pop up. And they can click on there and they can contact the state committee, or they can email me at chair@ri.gop, chair@ri.gop, and just let me know where you're at and I'll direct you in that position. We have an amazing executive director who's helping us out and we're starting to facilitate. We got an amazing team together right now as our chair, our vice chair, our secretary, and our treasurer. We have amazing committees that are being put together right now for community outreach, both urban and ethnic. And we have data and we have all of these committees that are ready to hit the ground and start running. And we're looking for people to come on board and start helping us out. And we'd love to hear from them.
Folks, he is the chairman of the Rhode Island GOP, and he's got the title for 2 more years. Chairman Joe Powers. Chairman, great job. Congratulations. I hope this is the first of many conversations, because I'm telling you, the appetite is there. People are ready. People have had it. Anything I can do to help you get the word out, just know you're always welcome.
Absolutely, John. Thank you once again, and we'll definitely talk in the future.
All right, folks. Chairman Joe Powers right here on the Real News. And I want to again, folks, it's not easy of what they're trying to accomplish, but I stand by how many times during the course of the day of the week are people watching and you can't believe what you're hearing. You can't believe Governor McKee saying he's going to protect, quote, illegals from President Trump. Governor McKee, oh, we're in line with Maine, with boys, transgender playing girls sports. There's so many different people that are saying these people don't speak for me. When does it change? I think right now there's a lot of momentum. I believe there is. There's a lot of momentum for change. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Give them a call today, 401-283-9815. 401-283-9815. Call Corey. Free quote, quality asphalt seal coating. They can seal coat your driveway and parking lot. They can offer crack filling, pothole repairs, line striping, excuse me. I always say that. Line striping. They can make your pavement look like new. They'll help keep your parking lot safe by fixing potholes, cracks, make sure your lines are bright, direct traffic safely. They also do sports courts, resurfacing, pickleball, tennis, basketball. They'll also epoxy garages and patios, decorative concrete flooring. Call Corey right now. I share their Facebook page, Quality Asphalt Seal Coating, 401 283 9815. 401 283 9815 for quality asphalt seal coating. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, I believe this is going to be a big night. Here's a spoiler alert. Our local media, I also I wanted to mention that, by the way, with Chairman Powers. I think a lot of people recognize, I think so, that our local candidates, Republicans, it is an uphill battle with who the media is kind of with and rooting for. But it can't deter from the mission. But it's not people's imagination that look at, and a perfect example was last week, how our local media, not all of them, but the bulk of them, they immediately go to the defense of Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Now, by all accounts, as Justin Katz and myself laid out, I mean, that is like a scheme. That is where Senator Whitehouse and Sandra Whitehouse, and they figure out that if she's an employee at this company, well, then he's giving grants to the company. But instead, she's, quote, a consultant. A consultant is basically what they have set up is like a no-show job because she just bills the company. And the company, they get, or they've received 7.2 million in these grants, and then they kick 300,000 a year to her. So if you're the company and you do the math on that, if you have a company and someone comes to you and says, I can get you over 7 million, and they say, okay, but they say, but will you pay a finder's fee? What's the percentage of the finder's fee? I'm going to give you 7 million. Okay, of the 7, I'm going to keep 2, you keep 5. So a lot of people would say, yeah, sounds good to me. So they get the grant. She just bills them and gets her 300,000 a year. And that way, that's the problem is it's being blown up. And shame on, it was the Providence Journal that immediately came to his defense. Oh no, she doesn't work there. She's a consultant, a nonprofit consultant. What type of nonprofit consultant gets $300,000 a year for a no-show job? Do you really think she's working in the summertime? These people travel. Their part-time job is traveling. They travel all over. Plus he's in DC. I mean, but my point is the local media should have blown that up. That could have been a scoop for the local media to blow, the lid off that thing. And they did not. They obviously did not. I want to just double check if there's any. We will be doing Road Patrol Live later. It was very busy last night. There are major developments with the Karen Reed trial, but I save that for other platforms. There's plenty of stuff. You don't have to do everything on. I mean, this is insanity what I'm reading right now. New Senate President Ruggiero remains at Fatima, unable to preside. This is ridiculous. He needs to step down. The guy's not up to the job. His colleagues are beginning to tiptoe around the rules that govern succession. He's not physically up to the job. He's not up to the job of doing that. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, there's no justification for the tariffs. U.S. launched a trade war against Canada, closest ally. We give them $300 billion a year. The gravy train is over. Today's hearing is over. Karen Reed. Next up, federal court, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Nothing like that is going to happen. the biggest news, and I'm not gonna debate it with people. The biggest news of the Karen Reed trial is it was finally came out in court today that there's no federal investigation, which means the feds found no evidence of any type of conspiracy. So they were outside of court. I'll look at this later, whether or not there's going to be a gag hearing. But that was, I know a lot of people haven't followed it. And so I do go into it on other platforms. I talk about it, obviously, on national television, on Court TV. But this is an unusual case where there's no point in debating it, because when people get involved in a conspiracy, they're not seeking the truth. They only look for tidbits to further the conspiracy. It's an unusual case. There are so many people got involved with the conspiracy in believing it, but I saw someone post like the Luigi Mangione trial that's going to be coming up. As of right now, there's no conspiracy involving that high-profile murder. He went to New York and he shot and killed the head of United Healthcare. Now, there are people that are trying to justify it somewhat by saying, and by the way, I can agree and understand the people that are wildly upset about United Healthcare came up with an algorithm where they just reject all these claims. But there's no conspiracy that he was framed or anything like that. So it's not exactly the same. As a matter of fact, there's no local case that I'm aware of where there are so many people that are vested in that whole thing. But what was finally revealed in court is the feds did a very thorough investigation, and they found no hint, nothing about a conspiracy. I just think, listen, I've already talked. There's other platforms I talk about it, but it's limited of how much I can listen to, because it just ventures into. I've been through dealing with some of these people before. It was after 9/11. If you're a talk show host, I had to deal with the people that said 9/11 was an inside job. When Sandy Hook happened, you had people that then started to say that it was all a hoax. And the leader of that was that Alex Jones, that those were character actors, that never happened. I mean, I think there are still some people today that actually believe that, even though Alex Jones went into court and admitted that he made up the whole thing. But so I've dealt with it before, and I don't talk people's, how come you don't, because it's a wasted exercise. If there are people out there that believe the earth is flat. There are people out there that believe we never went to the moon. I personally don't have there's no point in having a conversation with someone like that, because you can't reach them. They're buying into the whole conspiracy. So I don't like conspiracies. I don't, but it's pointless to try to argue with anyone that's in that. So if there's anyone that's watching or listening or following, if you're in that camp, go ahead. I'm not even going to try. It's pointless. It's a fool's errand. If you want to sit down and spend time trying to debate someone that says the world is flat, and there are people, by the way, there's actually a larger number than people realize. There are people that like to do that. I'm just not one of them. So I have no desire to sit and have a conversation with someone that's trying to convince me that the earth is flat or that we didn't go to the moon. Again, there's plenty of out there. There's full chat rooms. There's full sites set up of these people. They debate it all the time. I just have no interest. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Arch Design Builders. Call them today for a free quote, 401-207-4124. 401-207-4124. Arch Design Builders. Maybe if you're on this Tuesday thinking of a new kitchen or a new bathroom or a basement, maybe you want to redo your basement is what I mean, unfinished, or a garage or deck, or a special project, Arch Design Builders. Give them a call today at 401-207-4124. So you're listening or watching on this Tuesday, and maybe you have been thinking of, you want to remodel your kitchen, or you want to remodel your bathroom, or maybe a deck, or maybe a special project in your house. A lot of people are saying, maybe we can do an in-law apartment or something of that nature. Arch Design Builders. Call them, set up. It all begins with the phone call and the conversation. Bring them in and let's dream. Let them see the space that we're talking about. 401-207-4124, Arch Design Builders. And you're going to notice and you're going to discover the arch difference. This tremendous husband and wife duo of Ed and Roxanne, but it all starts with the phone call. 401-218-9707 for Arch Design Builders. Well, folks, good afternoon. And just to translate for everybody, when Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, there's a reason why he put in his re-election video the wording that he's going to stand by. And they're not, I hope they realize they may fool the rest of the media, but I hope you're not, I don't think we're fooled by it. I know I'm not, but this whole business of he's going to protect Rhode Islanders and he's going to, and immigration rights, folks. I mean, I hope I don't have to repeat it, but I think a lot of people recognize that when they're saying immigration rights, what they actually mean is they're going to protect illegals, because otherwise, as I have said, if you came in the right way, there would be no reason that you would need, quote, protection. Putting Rhode Islanders first, protecting them against the dangerous Trump agenda, and then he's got it right there. McKee stands with Rhode Island immigrants. So I don't think I have to go through again, but just so people understand, when they say that, they're talking about people that are not in the country legally. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. They're not, there'd be no reason. For instance, right now, if you're listening or watching and you hear, if you're at a, I'll just give a quick analogy, and I know I'm up against the clock. If you're at if you're at Fenway Park and you're in your seat and they announce the usher's going to come around and check tickets. If you have your ticket and you're in your right seat, you have nothing to worry about. But if you snuck in, or you don't have if you don't have a ticket, or you're not in your right seat, then you're worried. That's what it's all about. Folks, coming up, you're going to hear the Radio 2 o'clock news. We're back later tonight with Road Patrol Live. Listen, visit the website, depetro.com. Become a subscriber of Road Patrol Live and enjoy this Tuesday.